insurance really. After the event, it's often too late. So once you realize that you should have filed a patent, generally tends to be too late, so people tend to submit it from the outset. And the last reason, which sounds a bit maybe invalid maybe, but on reflection really isn't. Everybody else does it, so there is a pressure. Do you really want to be the only one left out? Having said all that, what's not on this slide, why not patent? And there are many reasons why you might not wish to go down that route. So it might be that trade secrets are much better suited to your endeavor, or maybe you're in such a fast-moving market that patents which are quite slow and hazy as far as getting them is concerned are just irrelevant, because by the time you're looking at the hope of seeing a patent granted, the market isn't going. So what about timing? Really, there's no time like the present, and if you haven't thought about at least an approach to IP, then start now. Review what you've got and put processes in place to capture what you will develop. As I said, there's no time like the present, and you might not suppose otherwise. Once you've done the initial homework and you may decide what happens if you do so, there are many questions of strategies here, and so factors are, you might want to get in early to secure your position, but is the technology ready? Would you be better off waiting and developing further? Do you have known targets that you know you want to go after, so maybe you should hurry up after, or do you need to defer cost because cash flow is an issue, and there are ways we can structure patent strategies to defer cost as much as possible. So all of these factors will determine how you go about it, and there isn't really one size fits all. Where? Well, where would you like to patent, or where should you patent? Markets is obviously one main consideration. Where are you selling? But also where are your competitors selling, or where might you sell in the future? Which are the important places where you need protection? Where are your competitors? Wouldn't it be nice? One really powerful way to think about is manufacture. Where do people make things? Because if you can stop a competitor's product using your innovation being made in the first place, then you've had that competitor at source, rather than having to cover all the markets that you might sell. And so with that in mind, really, I think these days one has to think very carefully about countries like China, India, Brazil, countries that still make things, like for example in the UK, we don't make any such anymore. So those countries have increasing interest, and I find from my client that particularly China is one that people are very interested in these days. So, implementation. Well, it's all nice and well if you have a grand strategy of where you want to go, but how do you get there? If you have an active R&D function, you need to make sure that the inventions come out of it and you have a chance of capturing. So you need incentives for the people doing the research on the ground, so they're interested in telling you about invention. You need processes to capture them and to evaluate what you bought. Crucially, you need to budget, and about that a couple of words later on. Admin, well, I mentioned it's boring and nobody really wants to think about it, but having a good, efficient system right from the outset is really crucial in avoiding confusion later on. And you want to monitor what you're doing, what your competitors are doing, and make sure you're not caught out. I'm speeding ahead a little bit because I'm aware of time and we want to leave some time for questions at the end. So really, all I want to tell you about this very busy slide is buying is crucial. So really, if you want to have a strategy that works, you need the whole company to be behind it. From management level to the R&D people, everybody needs to buy in. So you need to understand why it is what you're doing. And so education is crucial. Again, on this slide, I'm just going to focus on one key point I want you to take away, which is forecasting is crucial. You need to be able to look into the future, and while you will never be certain about how much money your patenting effort will need in the future, you need to try to predict it as best as you can. And that is because there are many milestones along the road to a patent, and then many prepayments in the future. And if you run out of money halfway through the process, then your initial investment is wasted. So forecasting is crucial. And just very briefly on using patent counsel, if you're a startup company or a small company setting out, it's quite unlikely that you will have in-house counsel, so you will be working quite closely with the likes of me, external counsel. So how do you work with people like me to get the best out of us? And what I would say is, and what I try to achieve with my clients, is to work where I can add most value, because external counsel is not cheap. But if you make sure that you use it sparely where the best value is added, then that's as efficient as it can be. And part of that is daily building a relationship, getting your external counsel involved in your business, so they understand what it is that you need and they can share their experience and get additional value out of it, get them to come in and educate your workforce about inventions, so inventions to know what it is they're looking for and to be better at capturing inventions. So far I've only talked about your own patents and your own efforts at covering your innovation. But what you mustn't forget is that other people are doing the same. And all that the patent gives you is a negative right. It doesn't allow you to do anything. And as many times as you like, somebody can still cover what you do. So you can stop them, but they may try to stop you. So as part of a holistic strategy, you really need to consider third-party rights and their relevance to your business. Now the consideration may be that, well, I'm happy to take the risk. I don't want to spend the money on any clearance, and that's fine as long as it's an informed decision. Or, you might do some investigating to get a bit more comfort, and it really is a trade-off between risk versus cost. And it's clearly not an academic question, because patent litigation goes on all the time, and this wing site versus Facebook story I've put on here is quite an interesting one, but in the interest of time, if you want to talk about it a little bit, why don't you come and find me in the break? So this is a quote from Winston Churchill, which I really cherish. And I have a beautiful strategy. You should occasionally look at the results. And this is important, obviously. You can theorize and have strategies as much as you like. If the bottom line isn't there and you don't get results in the long term, then it's not the point. The problem is that it's not so easy to evaluate. It's very easy to find the cost of everything. It's money out of your pocket. The benefit of what your patent strategy and your patent portfolio brings to the business is much harder to define. In one sense, you'll only know if you sell a patent what it's worth, what somebody's prepared to pay for it. But there are factors. For example, licensing revenue, should you have one. License fee payments that you avoid because you're able to cross-license your patent and use it as a negotiating chip in negotiations with third parties. Brand value. It could be a mark of approval saying this is an innovative company if you file for and get lots of patents. So I'm going to more or less stop here just to remind you that a patent strategy is an interaction of three very different areas. So what you need is a team of people and a set of skills that you need to bring to the party. But unfortunately, this is a somewhat simplistic picture of what really is going on, and it looks more something like this. Right. Like this. So it's not nice and easy, simple spheres that you can parcel out that quite easily. Generally, everything's intertwined. It's a bit like a ball of wool. There are lots of different colors here as well, because clearly patents are not the end of the story. There's intellectual property rights I haven't mentioned, but which you need to also consider, like trademarks and designs, and how all of this fits in with your business strategy. And with that, I'll stop here and leave you in the capable hands of the next speaker. Thank you.